childish, or that's not the thing. It is terrible.
Preposterous! It's a sham!
You will have 100 guinea fees before he is 40.
Mr. Cargom, I am Frederick Treves. I am your new lecturer in anatomy.
Age 31. Books on scrocular and applied surgical anatomy. I'm happy to see you rising, Mr. Treves. I like to see merit credited, and your industry, accomplishment, and skill all do you credit. Ignore the squalor of Whitechapel, the general dinginess, neglect, and poverty without, and you will find a continual medical recess in the London hospital. We study and treat the widest range of disorders and diseases, and are certainly the greatest institution of our kind in the world. The Empire provides unparalleled opportunities for our studies, as places cruel to life are the most revealing scientifically. Add to our reputation by going farther, and that'll satisfy. You bought a house?
Yes, on Wimpole Street.
Good. Keep at it, Trees. You'll have an FRS and 100 guinea fees before you're 40. You'll find it an excellent consolation prize.
Consolation? I'm terribly sorry. I don't know what you mean.
I know you don't. You will.
A happy childhood in Dorset. A scientist in an age of science. In an English age, an Englishman. A teacher and a doctor at the London. A house. A wife who loves me. 2 books published before my 31st year. And my God! 100 guinea fees before I'm 40? Consolation for what? As of the year 1884, I, Freddie Treves, have excessive blessings. Or so it seems to me.
Art is as nothing to nature.
Tuppence only, step in and see. This side of the grave, John Merrick has no hope nor expectation of relief. In every sense, his situation is desperate. His physical agony is exceeded only by his mental anguish, a despised creature without consolation. Tuppence only, step in and see. To live with his physical hideousness, incapacitated deformities, and unremitting pain is trial enough, but to be exposed to the cruelly lacerating expressions of horror and disgust by all who behold him is even more difficult to bear. Tuppence only, step in and see. For in order to survive, Merrick forces himself to suffer these humiliations. I repeat, humiliations in order to survive. Thus, he exposes himself to crowds who pay to gape and yelp at this freak of nature, the Elephant Man. Come see Mother Nature uncorseted and in malignant rage. Tuppence.
This sign is absurd. Half elephant and half man cannot be. Is he foreign?
Right. From Leicester. Oh, but nothing to fear.
I am with the London across the road. I would be interested to see him if it is some genuine deformity. If it is a mass of papier-mâché and paint, however,
Then pay me nothing. Enter, sir. Up, Merrick! You bloody donkey! Up!
I must examine him further at the hospital. Here's my card. I am Treves. I will send a car to pick him up and return him. My card will gain him entrance.
By Bob! He's yours for the day.
I wish to examine him in the interests of science, you see.
Sir, I'm Ross. I look out for him, get him his living. Found him in a Leicester workhouse. His own ma put him there age of 3. Couldn't bear the sight of him. Well, you can see why. He and I, are in business. He's our capital. Go to a bank. We'll go anywhere. I want to borrow capital. You pay interest. Scientists even. He's good value though. You won't find another like him.
Fair enough.
Right. Out, Merrick! You bloody donkey! Out!
Who has seen the like of this?
The most striking feature about him was his enormous head, its circumference about that of a man's waist. From the forehead, there projected a huge bony mass like a loaf, while from the back of the head, there hung a bag of spongy, fungus-looking skin, the surface of which was comparable to brown cauliflower. On the top of the skull, there were a few long, lank hairs. The osseous growth on the forehead, at this stage about the size of a tangerine, almost occluded one eye. Another mass of bone projected from the upper jaw. It protruded from the mouth like a pink stump, turned the upper lip inside out, and made the mouth a wide, gaping aperture. The nose was merely a lump of flesh, only recognizable as a nose from its position. These deformities rendered the face utterly incapable of the expression of any emotion whatsoever. The back was horrible, for from it hung down as low as the middle of the thigh huge sack-like masses of flesh, covered with that same loathsome cauliflower stain. The right arm was of enormous size and shapeless. It suggested, but was not, elephantiasis, and was overgrown also with pendant masses of that same repulsive cauliflower-like skin. The right hand was large and clumsy, a fin or paddle rather than a hand. No distinction existed between the palm and the back. The thumb was like a radish, and the fingers thick tuberous roots. As a limb, it was useless. The other arm was remarkable by contrast, for it was not only normal, but was in fact a delicately shaped limb, covered with a fine skin, and provided with a beautiful hand that any woman might have envied. From the chest there hung a bag of that same repulsive flesh, like the dewlap under the neck of a lizard. The lower limbs had the characteristics of the deformed arm. They were unwieldy, dropsical-looking, and grossly misshapen. From the fungus growths, there rose a very sickening stench which was difficult to tolerate. To add further burden to his trouble, the wretched man, when a boy, developed hip disease, which left him permanently lame and only able to walk with the aid of a stick. Please. He was thus denied all means of escape from his tormentors.
Mr. Trees, you have shown a profound and unknown disorder to us. You have said that he leaves here it is for his expedition again. I do not think it ought to be permitted. It is a disgrace. It is a pity and a disgrace. It is an indecency, in fact. It may be a danger in ways we do not know. Something ought to be done about it.
I am a doctor. What would you have me do?
Well, I know what to do. I know.
This indecency may not continue.
Now, my belated darlings, your attention, please. Every creek in Brussels Square is doing something to celebrate Leopold's 5th year as King of the Congo. Yves, our King, our Empire!
We are the queens of the Congo!
Oh, don't recite yet, you morons! I'll say when, and when you do get it right, you don't get back to the asylum! You know what that means, don't you? They'll cut your heads and spoon out your little brains and replace them in the tiny puppies they were stolen from! Got you, oui! Be back with the customers! Come see the queens of the Congo!
Cosmos? Cosmos?
Congo, land of darkness. Look at them, lad. It's much freer on the continent. Loads of indecency here, no one minds. You won't have the coppers coming around to rout you out like London, or reckon in Brussels, here's our fortune. Get a little tete with this lot. I'll go check with the coppers on our license to exhibit. I'll be right back.
I come from England.
Hello!
At home, they chased us out of London. Police. Someone complained. They beat me. You have no trouble? No?
Hello!
Hello. In Belgium, we make money. Well, I look forward to it. Well, happiness, I mean. You pay your police here? How is it done?
Hello! Hello!
We do a show together sometime, yes? I've saved 48 pounds, 9 shillings tuppence. English money. Ross takes care of it.
Hello! Hello!
Not a vocabulary problem, eh?
Hello!
Poor things. Looks like they put your noses to the grindstone and forgot to take them away.
They're coming! They're coming! Now!
We are the queens of the Congo, the beautiful Belgian Empire. Our niggas are bigger, our miners are finer. Empire, Empire, Congo and power. See what I do, these finest hour. Empire, fire, Empire. Or we'll set you on fire!
No, you cretins! Sorry, they're not ready yet. Get those words right, girls, or you know what!
Don't cry. You sang nicely. Don't cry. There.
I was promised a permit! I'm going to tour up on that!
This is a brutal, indecent, and immoral display of public indecency, and it is forbidden here.
Well, what about them and their perfect cone heads?
They are ours.
Competition's good for business. Where's your spirit of competition?
Right here!
Kill him!
He's the old dead indecent bastard!
Don't cry, girls. Doesn't hurt. Those then will always mean bad numbers. Won't it, Ross?
I've decided. I'm setting you back, lad. You're a flop. No, you're a liability. You're not the moneymaker I figured. So that's it.
Alone?
Here's a few bob. Have a nosh. I'm keeping the rest for myself. For me trouble. I deserve it, I reckon. Invested enough in you. Pick up your stink if I stick around. Stink of failure? Stink of lost years? just stink. Stink! 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 Stink!
This the one?
Just send to Liverpool Street Station safe, will ya? Here's for your trouble.
Rob! What's he say?
Just make sounds, fella's an imbecile.
Rob!
So long, Johnny! His name's Johnny. He knows his name, but nothing else.
Don't bother with Johnny. Come on, boat now, Johnny. Rob! Conductor, find you a place outside. Rob! Johnny, come on! Rob!
Police side with imbecile against the crowd.
Liverpool Street Special! Get him out of here!
Well, we're safe in here. I barred the door.
They wanted to rip into the pieces. I've never seen anything like it. It's like being Gordon in bleeding cartoon.
Got somewhere to go in London, lad. You can't stay here.
There is an imbecile you don't understand. So search him.
Got any money?
Rob!
What's that?
He just makes sounds. Frightened sounds is all he makes. He's going to go. No! Jesus! Jesus!
If you don't let me go through your coat, I'll hand you over to that one. Unnatural! Oh, I was joking. Don't upset yourself.
Joke! Joke!
Crook! Crook!
Jesus!
Got a card here. You, Johnny Merrick? What's this old card here, Johnny? Somebody give you a card?
What's it say?
Says Mr. Frederick Treves, lecturer in anatomy, London Hospital.
That's not far. I'll go see if I can find him.
Hey, what's he do then? Lecture you on your own anatomy? People who think right don't look like that then, do they, yeah? Glug, glug, glug.
Jesus! Jesus!
Treves, Treves, Treves.
The devil's going on here? Look at that mob! Have you no sense of decency? I am Treves, this is my card.
This poor wretch here had it. Arrived from Ostend.
Good Lord, Merrick? John Merrick? What's happened to you?
Help me!
Even on the Niger and Ceylon. Not this.
And you are? Miss Sandwich.
Sandwich, yes.
You have experience in missionary hospitals on the Niger.
And Ceylon.
Yeah, I may assume you've seen...
The tropics. Oh, those diseases. The many and the awful scourges our Lord sends. Yes, sir.
I have need of an experienced nurse, you see.
Someone to bring him food, take care of the room. Yes, I understand. But it is somehow difficult.
Well, I have been let down thus far. The normal sisters, they... Well, it is not their job, and they will not do it. Be ordinarily kind to Merrick without, well, panicking. He is quite beyond ugly, you understand. His appearance is terrifying.
The photographs show a terrible disease.
It is a disorder, not a disease. It is in no way contagious, although we don't, in fact, know what it is. I have found, however, there is a deep superstition among those I've tried. They somehow believe he has brought this upon himself. And that is not it at all.
I am not one who believes it is ourselves who attain grace, or bring chastisement to us, sir.
Miss Sandwich, I am hoping not.
Let me put your mind at rest. Care for the lepers in the east, and you have cared, Mr. Treves. In Africa, I have seen dreadful scourges, quite unknown to our more civilized climes. What at home could be worse than a miserable and afflicted, rotting black?
I imagine.
Appearances do not daunt me.
It really is that which has sent me outside the confines of the London seeking help.
I look to the hills whence cometh my help. I understand. I think I will be satisfactory.
Ah. Hence, Blanche, would you care to accompany me? I will introduce you.
Allow me to carry the tray.
I will, this time. You are ready?
I am.
He is bathing to be rid of his odor. Hello, John. This is Miss Sandwich. She is here... sorry. I thought maybe this time...
Thank you for saving the lunch this time.
Excuse me. You've let me down, you know. I did everything I could to warn you, and still...
You didn't say!
I did!
Didn't say! Just words!
About the photographs.
Just pictures! No one will do this, I'm sorry!
Well, this is not helping you.
The English public will pay for him to be like us.
What fortitude he bears this cross is remarkable. He has made the acquaintance of religion and knows sections of the Bible by heart. Once I grasped his speech, it became clear that he had certainly had religious instruction at one time.
I believe it was in the workhouse, Dr. Howard.
Oh, yes, they are awfully good about that sometimes. The Psalms he loves, and the book of Job perplexes him. He says, for he cannot see that a just God must cause suffering, as he puts it, merely to be merciful. But that Christ will save him, he does not doubt, so he is not resentful.
Christ had better be damned if we can.
In any case, Mr. Trees, he has a religious nature. Further instruction would uplift him. I'd be pleased to provide it. I plan to speak with him from the pulpit this week.
I see our visiting invader has flushed the busy Bishop Howe from his cruciform lap.
Speak with Merrick, sir. I have spoken to him of mercy and justice. There is a true Christian in the rough.
Well, this makes my news seem banal. Yet, yes, Frederick, the response to my letter to the Times about Merrick has been staggering. The English public has been so generous that Merrick may be supported for life without a penny spent from hospital funds.
Well, this is excellent!
Yes, God bless the English public.
Especially for not dismembering him at Liverpool Street Station. Freddie, the London's no home for incurables. This is quite irregular. But for you, I'll permit it. Though God knows what you'll do.
God does know, sir. Darwin does not.
He'd better, sir. He deformed him.
I had apprehensions coming here. I find it most fortunate that Merrick is in the hands of Dr. Trees. A Christian, sir.
Freddie's a good man and a brilliant doctor, and that is fortunate indeed.
I could not have raised the funds, however, Doctor.
Don't let me keep you longer from your duties, Mr. Trees. Yet, Mr. Gum, consider. Is it science, sir, that motivates us when we transport English rule of law to India or Ireland? When good British churchmen leave hearth and home for missionary hardship in Africa? Is it science that bears them away? It is not, sir. It is Christian duty. The obligation to bring light and benefices to benighted man. That motivates us, much as it motivates Mr. Trees to marry, bring salvation where there is none. Gordon was a Christian, sir. He died for it, Khartoum. Not for science.
You're absolutely right. Not for science.
Mr. Trees, I'll visit Merrick weekly if I may.
Yes, sir. You would be welcome, I'm certain.
Yeah. Good day, sir.
Well, Jesus, my boy, now we have the money. What do you plan for Merrick?
Normality, as far as is possible.
So he will be like us? Ah.
Is there something wrong, Mr. Gong, with us?
Mercy and justice elude our minds and actions.
How long is as long as I like?
You may stay for life. The funds exist.
I've been reading this about homes for the blind. wouldn't mind going to one when I have to move.
You don't have to move. And you're not blind.
I prefer it when no one stared at me.
No one will bother you here.
Certainly not. I've given instructions.
What did you say? Break the night, right? What did I tell you?
God Almighty! But Mr. Trees, Mr. Gum,
You were told not to do this. I don't understand. You must not lurk about. Surely you have work.
Yes, sir.
Well, it is infuriating. When you are told something, you must listen. I will not have you gaping in at my patience. Kindly remember that.
Isn't a patient, sir, is he?
Do not let me find you here again.
Didn't know you was here, sir. We'll be off now.
No, Will. Mr. Trees was precisely saying no one would intrude when he knew intruder.
He is warned now. Merrick does not like it.
He was warned before. On what penalty, Will?
That you'd sack me, sir.
You are sacked, Will. You, his friend. You work here?
Just started last week, sir.
Well, I hope the point is taken now.
Mr. Gum, I'm not truly sacked, am I?
Will, yes. Truly sacked. You will never be more truly sacked.
It's not me. It's me wife. She not well. His sister has to take care of all kids. And her. Well,
Think of them first next time.
it's not as if I interfere with his medicine.
That is exactly what it is. You may go.
Just want to keep him to look at in private. That's all, isn't it?
There are priorities, Frederick. The first is discipline. Smooth is the passage to the tight ship's master. Merrick, you are safe from prying now.
Have we nothing to say, John?
If all that stared at me had been sacked, there'd be whole towns out of work.
No. I mean, thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
We do always say please and thank you, do we not?
Yes, sir. Thank you.
If we want to properly be like others,
Yes, sir. I want to.
then it is for our own good.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Mr. Gong.
Sir, you are welcome.
You are happy here, are you not, John?
Yes,
The baths have rid you of your odor, have they not?
first chance I had to bathe regularly.
3 meals a day delivered to your room.
Yes, sir.
Well, this is your promised land, is it not, John? A roof, food, protection, care, is it not?
Right, Mr. Trees.
Well, I bet you know what to call this.
No, sir, I don't.
You call it home.
Never had a home before.
You do now. Well, go on, John, say it. Home.
Home.
No, properly say it. I have a home. This is my... Well,
I have a home. This is my home. I have a home. This is my home. For as long as I like,
that is what home is.
that is what is home.
If I abide by the rules, I will be happy.
Yes, sir.
Well, don't be shy, John.
If I abide by the rules, I will be happy.
Excellent. Why?
Why what?
Will you be happy?
Because this is my home.
No. Why do rules make you happy?
I don't know.
Well, of course you do.
No, really, I don't.
Well, why does anything make you happy?
Like what? Like what?
Don't be upset. Rules make us happy because they are for our own good.
Okay.
Don't be shy, John. You can say it.
This is my home.
No, about rules making you happy.
They make us happy because they're for our own good.
Excellent. Now, I am submitting a follow-up report on you to the London Pathological Society. It would help if you were to tell me more of your earliest memories, you know, to fill in the blanks.
Fill in the blanks. The workhouse, where they put me. And they beat me like a drum. Boom, boom. Scrape the floor white. Shine the pan. Boom, boom. It never ends. The floor is always dirty. The pan is always tarnished. There's nothing you can do about it. You're always attacked anyway. Boom, boom. Boom, boom. Boom, boom. Will the children go to the workhouse?
The children?
Children. The man he stabbed.
Well, out of necessity, Will will find other employment. You don't want crowds staring at you, do you?
No.
Well, in your home, you don't have to have crowds staring at you, do you, John? In your home?
No.
Then Mr. Gaume was merciful. You yourself are proof, is it not so? Well, is it not so?
If your mercy is so cruel, what do you have for justice?
I'm sorry, John. That's just the way things are.
Boom, boom. Boom, boom. Boom, boom.
Most important are women.
You have seen photographs of John Merrick, Mrs. Kendall. You are acquainted with his appearance.
He reminds me of an audience I played Cleopatra for in Brighton once. All huge, grim head and grimace, and utterly unable to clap.
Well, it is my aim to lead him to as normal a life as possible. His fear of us comes from having been held at arm's length by society. I am determined that that shall end. For example, he loves to meet new people and converse. I am determined that he shall. But did you know he had never seen the inside of a normal home before? I had him to mine, and what a reward, Mrs. Kendall. His excitement, his joy, the simplest of things. Most critical, I feel, however, are women. I will explain. It is they that have shown the greatest fear and loathing of him, while he adores them, of course.
Ah, he is intelligent.
Well, I'm convinced that they are the key to retrieving him from his exclusion. I feel I should warn you, however, that women are not exactly real to him. They are more creatures of his imagination.
Then he is already like other men, Mr. Treves.
Well, I thought that an actress could help. You see, unlike most women, you will not give in. You are trained to hide your true feelings and assume others.
You mean, unlike most women, I am famous for it. That is really all.
Well, if you could enter the room and smile and greet him, when you leave, shake his hand. The left one is beautiful and really quite beautiful. And say, I am very pleased to make your acquaintance, Mr. Merrick.
Shall we try it? Left hand out, please. I am very pleased to have made your acquaintance, Mr. Merrick. I am very pleased to have made your acquaintance, Mr. Merrick. I am very pleased to have made your acquaintance, Mr. Merrick. I am very pleased to have made your acquaintance, Mr. Merrick. Yes, that one.
My God, they're all splendid. Merrick will be so pleased. It'll be the day he becomes a man like other men.
Speaking of that, Mr. Treves.
Frederick, please.
Freddie, may I commit an indiscretion?
Yes?
I could not help but noticing from the photographs that, well, of the unafflicted parts. How shall I put it?
Yes, I understand. No, it is completely normal.
Thought as much.
Yes, you see, medically speaking, the papillomatis extrusions which disfigure him correspond quite regularly to the osseous deformities. Terribly sorry. There is a clear link between the bone disorder and the skin growths, although we don't even know why that is or even what it is. But as for this particular part, it would therefore be unlikely to be affected, because, well, there's no bone in it. None at all, I mean.
Well, learn a little every day, don't we?
I am horribly embarrassed.
Are you? Then he must be lonely indeed.
When the illusion ends, he must kill himself.
He is sketching for his model of St. Philip's Cathedral. He wants one day to make a model, you see. John, my boy, this is Mrs. Kendall. She's very eager to make your acquaintance.
Good morning, Mr. Merrick.
Well, I must see to a few things. I shall be back soon.
There's so many things I planned to say. I forget them now. You are so beautiful.
How charming, Mr. Merrick.
Well, really, that's what I planned to say. Said I forgot what I planned to say. I couldn't think of anything else. I got so excited.
Real charm is always planned, don't you think?
Well, you do not know why I look like this, Mrs. Kendall. My mother, she was so beautiful. She was knocked down by an elephant at a circus when she was pregnant. Something must have happened, don't you think?
It may well have.
It may well have. But sometimes, I think my head is so big because it is so full of dreams. Because it is. Do you know what happens when dreams cannot get out?
What? No.
Neither do I. But something must. Well, you are a famous actress.
I'm not unknown.
You must display yourself for a living then, like I did.
That is not myself, Mr. Merrick. That is an illusion. This is myself.
This is myself too.
Frederick says you like to read, so books.
I'm reading Romeo and Juliet now.
Oh, Juliet, what a love story. I adore love stories.
I like love stories best too. Well, if I had been Romeo, guess what? Well, I would not have held the mirror to her breath.
You mean the scene where Juliet appears to be dead and he holds the mirror to her breath and sees
Nothing. Well, how does it make him feel when he kills himself because he just sees nothing?
Well, my experience as Juliet has been, particularly with an actor whose name I will not mention, that while I am laying there, dead, and he is lamenting excessively, I get to thinking that if that slab of ham does not part from the hammock of his life to sweet, I am going to scream, pop off the tomb, and plunge a dagger into his scene-stealing heart. Romeos are very undependable.
Because he does not care for Juliet.
Not care?
Does he take her pulse? Does he get a doctor? Does he make sure? No. He kills himself. The illusion fools him because he does not care for her. He only cares about himself. If I had been Romeo, we would have gotten away.
But then there would be no play.
Well, if you did not love her, why should there be a play? Looking in a mirror and seeing nothing. That is not love. It was all just an illusion. When the illusion ended, he had to kill himself.
Why, that is extraordinary.
Before I spoke with people, I did not think of all these things, because there was no one to bother to think them for. Now things that are true just come out of my mouth.
You are famous, John! Look, you're in the paper. They've written up my letter to the Pathological Society. Look, it's like an apotheosis for you.
Frederick, I feel that Mr. Merrick would benefit by even more company than you provide. In fact, by being acquainted with the best, and they with him. I shall make it my task, if you'll permit. As you know, I am a friend of nearly everyone, and I do pretty well as I please. And what pleases me is this task, I think.
Mrs. Kendall, you are splendid.
Mr. Merrick, I must go now. I should like to return, if I may. And so that we may, without delay, begin to teach you about society, I should like to bring my good friend, Dorothy, Lady Neville. She would be most pleased if she could meet you. Let me tell her yes. Then until next time, I am sure your church model will surprise us all. Mr. Merrick, it has been a very great pleasure to make your acquaintance.
Your hand, John. She wishes to shake your hand.
Thank you for coming.
But it was my pleasure. Thank you.
That was a wonderful success. Do you know he's never shook a woman's hand before?